So just before academy.
Okay. So, could we start?
Sure, let's go.
So, good evening. My name is Muyanze from Aga Khan Academy. Thank you for accepting to share with me your perspectives on sports, particularly tennis. This
My pleasure.
contributes greatly to my school project. My school project is about sports and its connection to social and economic development. And I need to record this session for purposes of analysis. I hope it's okay.
Sure, no problem.
So my first question is, do you kindly tell me about yourself and your engagement with tennis as a sport?
Sure. So I've been playing tennis all my life, yeah. Ever since I was your age, I was always into sports. And my first competitive sport was badminton, and then I moved over to tennis at the age of 13. And ever since then, I've competed. I played for Kenya in the juniors. Then I moved to Canada when I was 16, and then I moved to the U.S. on a scholarship for tennis to a university in South Carolina at the age of 19. And so the scholarship paid for my schooling. I also got an academic scholarship. So then after that, I coached a bit of tennis. I coached the team that I was playing on in university, and then I kept playing after that. And then I turned it into a social. I turned it into instead of being competitive, I still kept playing tennis socially. And then 15 years later, we opened this tennis center here in Nairobi. And tennis for me has always been very good to me. It's always opened a lot of doors for me, and it's always created a lot of opportunities for me. So I've been blessed that way, and I've been very lucky to have tennis in my life.
Yeah, thank you. So my second question is, what inspired you to start to fight for Racket Club?
It's a very good question. You know, we when we came back from Canada, we were looking to get into business when we came back here, and I had taken my daughter, who you know, for tennis classes here, and I saw that there was a bit of a gap in terms of excuse me, a gap in terms of how tennis was instructed in Kenya. And I always knew about this, but now I saw it firsthand, and that's what made me create, you know, to bring my passion back into my life. And we wanted to, when we opened the 254 Racket Club, it was supposed to be just a tennis center. And then we made it into other sports as well, but the foundation of that whole racket club was tennis. And ultimately to be able to change people's lives, kids' lives with tennis. And I think even for the adults, there was a lot of people looking to play tennis who weren't members of clubs. So now they're able to play here without being a member because it's pay as you play, right? So you don't have to be a member of our place. Yeah.
Okay, so my third question is, what difference do you envision this club making both socially and economically?
What difference do I see it making?
Yeah,
So I see it making a big difference in terms of how tennis is taught formally in Nairobi and in Kenya for that matter.
yeah,
With the first academy, I would say to really follow a certain structure to how they teach, right? So this is why, we have, 40, 45 kids, and they all progress together. So as you know, all the kids have to come to, have 3 or 4 sessions a week. They have to be there for them. It's not that they can choose, oh, I want to come today, I won't come tomorrow. So there's a whole structure to it, and that's what's going to help, progress tennis properly in the right direction for Nairobi or for Kenya, right? In terms of economic difference, sports, especially tennis, other sports as well, but tennis, it creates a lot of avenues for opportunities for kids like you, for kids like my kid, for anyone from the ages of 6 to 18, right? So If you're really good, you get to have a chance to compete for Kenya, you get to play for Kenya, you get to travel, you get to get sponsored. You also get to go to university on a scholarship if you know if that's what you want. So economically, tennis creates a lot of opportunities for kids alike, right? And then economically, we also create jobs for coaches who are going to be coaching in the academy. So for example, right now we employ about 6 coaches full time who before only had 2-3 hours of coaching a day, and that was their income. So now they're occupied about 4 to 6 hours, right? To almost 8 hours sometimes as well. So it creates that economic impact on the coaches as well, a positive economic impact.
Okay.
Okay.
In your opinion, how can tennis as a sport support global unity and extend fairness?
Yeah, it's a good question. Tennis, like any sport, again, we'll focus on tennis. Tennis will always, by children growing up in a competitive environment, in a structured environment, in a disciplined environment, it allows to make for better people as they grow up. And also as they play competitions, they play tournaments, they travel, you get to meet people and you build bridges with these people, right? So for you, for example, if you travel to any country, let's say even if you travel just, to Uganda to play a tournament, you'll make friends there, you'll make acquaintances there. And every place you travel to, you'll meet people of different walks of life. And those bridges get created during competition, right? So this is how tennis really helps you make contacts, but also create bridges across the world, right? Today, I'm still in touch with my coach after 25 years in the US, right? And I'm trying to hopefully
Yeah.
try to send some of our kids who are ready to graduate into the US on scholarships as well. So after 25 years, I'm still in touch with my coaches.
Okay.
Okay.
My fifth question is, could you kindly explain to me efforts you are making as a club to realize equity in the game of tennis?
Yeah, good question. So, tennis is one of those sports where unfortunately not everybody can play. Because it is a bit of an expensive sport when you compare it to other sports. Um, so sometimes as coaches or as academies, you have that challenge where, excuse me, even though there's a lot of participation, there's a lot more people we would like to have, to tap into. So one of the programs we want to have, actually we already have in place, is we have scholarship programs for kids or students who are not able to afford it. Okay. We also want to start creating programs within schools and the public system to have them come and try tennis. So at least they get a chance at playing tennis. It opens that door. So even if you coach 200 kids and 10 of them decide to take up tennis, that's a success. That's a success, right? So
Yeah.
we're in the middle of implementing those kind of programs with our coaches. Um, but yeah, I mean it's definitely something we want to do as well.
Okay, so my sixth question is, do you consider investment in sports in Kenya a top priority for government and other stakeholders?
Good question. I think it's a very important question. I think it's the sport can only grow on an international level when there's help from the government. And when I mean the government is the government bodies, right? So the government bodies are quite involved with the progress of tennis. I think more needs to be done, but there's definitely a lot of influence the government can have to extend or expand the depth of tennis in the country, for sure, for sure.
Okay, so my next question is like, what more can be done to grow the sport in the country?
Good. Yeah. Look, again, same thing, right? You need that government involvement. You need programs set up by government bodies to have these systems that develop children in sports, and that applies to all the sports, right? Or let's say the major sports. So tennis is definitely one of them. In countries like Australia, they have that. So you can go to a school and play tennis. If you're really, really good, they send you to another school, a regional school. And then if you're excellent, they send you to a national school where there's a national program. So I think that's something that, if there's an opportunity to do that, that would be an excellent, excellent thing. Yeah. And the other thing is also to have access to more courts. So what's happening in Kenya right now in Nairobi is you have to be a member of a club to play tennis.
True.
And not everybody is a member of a club, right? Because it's expensive, whereas if you go to Canada, you go to Europe, you go to the US, there's private clubs and there's public clubs. So you can play on public courts for very cheap. Here that doesn't exist, and this is one big aspect that would be great to change, but it's a big, long, hard step to do. But that would definitely help us grow the sport in Kenya.
Okay.
Okay.
So my eighth question is, what advice would you give to private schools like Aga Khan, who would like to expose their students more to a sport like tennis?
Yeah, look, I think a lot of schools have after-school programs. So they have coaches who come to coach after school. I believe they should, I think they should vet the coaches. There's a lot of good coaches out there. And they should try and develop a system and the school associations to help those kids who are promising in all the sports to go into bigger programs. So definitely that kind of bridge has to be made, which is not an easy step, but it's a doable step. Okay.
Okay. So are there any other people I could talk to regarding my project?
Yeah, you could talk to the head of academy, Coach Rosie. She's excellent. She has a lot of insight and a lot of depth when it comes to these things. She probably has similar and other opinions as well, and I would definitely say speak to Coach Rosie, and interview her for sure. Okay, and then maybe one more person or another set of people you could talk to is some of the kids in our academy who are 18, 17, 18 years old, who are about to go into university or go to the next step, and ask them what their journey was like and how could it have been made better, and where was it really good, stuff like that. I think that's important.
Yeah. Okay, and lastly, would you be willing to like participate in one of my action plan activities for this project, like either like a podcast, a YouTube channel, or website? Like, could I use this video to put it on one of those?
Sure, as long as my face doesn't look too funny, we're okay.
Okay, and
All right, anytime you
thank
let
you
me know.
for your time you
No
took
problem.
for this interview, and thank you for giving me information about your journey as a
No
tennis player
problem.
and as a tennis coach.
No problem. You
And
had great questions. Those are good.
thank you.
All right, buddy. I'll see you in academy, okay?
Okay, see you. Bye.
Okay, good night. Bye. See ya.
Good night. Bye.